Hello, what's going on, everybody? And we are back doing another little technical analysis, and it has been quite the eventful evening here. And real quick before we jump into it, quick quote of the day: live your dream and never wake up. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What's that one song say? Live your life like a movie. But over here on the chart, and I've got it. Oh yeah, I do got it on Bitcoin. As you can see, again, had this big old pump and just erasing the entire thing. It's kind of wild. Matter of fact, it even looks crazier over on the regular candles. Just boom, big old red candle. Let's see, what was that? 3.5% in one candle on a 10-minute chart. That just dumped. Glad I closed my trade, that's for sure. All right, let's get these ugly candles off of here. But let's zoom out a little bit, because there was actually something I wanted to point out earlier. And that was... looking over here. Now, we came into our little ring over here on the Gann square. So you can see when we touched that guy, got rejected. Had the pump. You know, everybody saw this one before. That was back on 13th. But then we came up here, hit on that spider line beautifully, came back down, again pumped this morning, kind of double dipped right on that spider line. And what have I been saying about constantly retesting support and resistance levels? You know, we kind of test here, broke through, no juice, came back, just again playing along with these levels. Came back again, you know, shorter intervals right there. Pumped like crazy. But it just doesn't want to happen. It just doesn't want to stay up. You know, as soon as we went up, got rejected back down. Now, keep in mind, we also had, you know, this kind of long traveling resistance level up there on top of everything else. Damn, phone's blowing up. And, you know, we had this little fan line right here that largely coincided with this a little bit, but we did actually, on some of these candles, you know, we stopped right at the spider line, but on that first one, we actually came right up to the fan line. So that was interesting. You know, found support down here with these ones. We'll see where she goes now. We pretty much came right back to this. You know, the Heikenhashi is going to look a little funky on a candle like that, but almost trapped in between those two at the moment. Trapped in between those three, really. But that is the Bitcoin 30-minute. And I did, you know what? Let me see. I did do a trade earlier. I had to do it on the phone because I was at work, but let me see if I can bring up... holy shit, that's bright. Wow, why is that white? I'm not sure how... you know those little, like, share your trade, like, little images and stuff that you could get on the phone? I completely forget where to find that on the regular like desktop web browser, but are you not going to tell me? Oh well, yeah, it's not telling me. Basically, I had 15% on that guy, which was not too shabby. It's from about here to about up there. Ended up hitting on a nice little trade right there, especially considering I had to do it with the phone, which I absolutely hate doing, but sometimes you just got to do it. And, you know, we were coming down here, these RSIs were getting tighter, they were heading up. We just got done with this little pullback, and we got a bounce off the VWAP, you know, between a bunch of different time frames. Let's see, where was that? I don't know. I can't remember. Somewhere in there. Okay, so about, yeah, about 9 o'clock. That was about right. So yeah, right about here when we had this little pullback right there, it was looking a little crazy, and I'm thinking, oh man, it's getting weak as it's going up. And then we had this pullback, and I was like, I'm gonna stay out of it. But this money flow was just looking fantastic, like all the way across a bunch of time frames. Then, you know, got this crossover over here, didn't dip down below the zero for the momentum waves, and these guys were just starting to go straight and back together. So I was like, all right, we got to go in on that one. Held that guy until about, actually right at that spider line. When we hit the spider line, started getting a little bit flaky right there. VWAP crossed down below the zero. We're starting to curve down on the money flow a little bit. Cut it at that point. That it's not, you know, I can't really sit there and like babysit, you know, trying to hold out on moves like that, at least while I'm at work. So I happily took my 15%. I'm not a gigantic trade or anything like that. It wasn't high leverage. I think I had it at, I don't know, either 5 or 8%. I think it's 5. But look at that. We are just pulling back down some more. Just erasing that whole pump. But I know the one I was looking at, sadly too late. Let's see, what time was that? 7:30. No, it was closer up here. I was looking at Polkadot. And just after I took a look at it, I'm like, oh, damn, it's going up. But, you know, the money flow was looking, I mean, the VWAP was looking a little bit crazy. We were heading down. We were getting close to coming back to the zero, which again, you know, you can never really bet on 100% because, you know, when you've got decent money flow going on like that, you know, sometimes the VWAPs, they'll cut sideways and just hang out above zero for a while, or you take a nice little bounce. But it's not something you can really bet on ahead of time, especially when you come in late. Like if you start a trade like down here, you know, right after this guy crosses to the upside, you know, you can afford to hang out a little bit until you see confirmation that it comes down past the zero. At which point, you know, you're already starting to see that turnaround in the red candles up here. But, you know, when you're jumping in late and you're coming in when it's already heading to the downside, you know, you're kind of, it's a risky thing right there. Some risky business. So kind of glad I didn't, because I was working on the thumbnail and all that stuff, and I probably would have missed that thing start coming down. Although I don't know, once it started going parabolic, usually at that point I'm paying real close attention. And as we are, you know, shooting upward, I mean, half the time I'm just sitting here watching, you know, even coming down on like a smaller time frame. Now this one wasn't too bad. You had a little bit of warning that we were turning around, because we were pumping up and we started to kind of roll over, get a little candy cane shape going. Whereas a lot of times, you know, you get these parabolic moves and then it's straight back down. And those ones, I mean, you blink and you miss it, and just literally 1 or 2 seconds can be the difference between, you know, there and there, which, you know, leveraged up can be a pretty decent chunk of percentage points. Now, looks like we've got a little move here back to the upside. You know, money flow didn't come down too far. You know, we could be looking at continuing up here. Now, RSI's, again, definitely tight throughout the whole thing, just strong moves. Wee bit of split right there as we came down to the bottom. Momentum wave kind of rounding over here. Huh. I don't know what that line is, but man, that was right on the money. But let's bump up a little bit. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Since we're already on Polkadot, you know, we've been ranging upward for a little while. That's kind of nice. Oh, excuse me. You know, getting this little upward channel going on here. I swear, every time I put a damn trend line on here, it's different every single time. And I don't even remember the last time I did a yellow extended to the right. Whatever. But looking right here, so, you know, no divergences or anything showing up in the recent past, on the 1 hour at least. You know, if we came to the 30-minute, it's about even. So I can't really call that one. And I hesitate to say the words double top on momentum waves like that. It's just not the same as having like two big, you know, macro trend tops hitting the same spot. But leading into it, you know, we did have bullish divergence down here right at the start of this entire move. You know, money flow is still looking good over here on the 30-minute. And we'll see what this pullback turns into, but I've got my eye on Polkadot. So let's see what else was going on today. Oh, surprising one. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Graph. I think Graph was at the top of the list. Almost 19%. Look at that. It's kind of one of those ones that flies under most people's radar. Like maybe you bought some like a couple years ago when people were talking about it a little bit, and then it just kind of fell off the map. I'll hide that volume, but I mean, shoot, let's see this last little pump right here, 26%. Little 15. We got like a little 9. Like a split 14. So not too bad, really. You know, looking at the RSI, just hanging out up top most of the time, but definitely, you know, we did have healthy little pullbacks. You know, started splitting on the pullback here. This one stayed pretty tight. You know, split on the pullback here, kind of rounded out sideways before coming up. Went sideways before coming up. Just still trending upward. Looks like we might get bearish divergence right here on the momentum waves. Look at that money flow though. Wonder what's got everybody just jumping into Graph. I mean, part of it could just be that, you know, people see it over here on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, and they're like, oh man, it's pumping, jump in. But, I mean, this is a half-hour chart, so it's been going on for a little while. What else do we have? Phantom was going for a little bit. Where's Phantom at? Here we go. Had this big, beautiful bastard right there. Look at that. Nice little 20. Look at that curvature. Ah, man, I love it. That's a sexy little curve right there. You know you like it. Money flow maybe starting to roll over a little bit. Definitely have a big bearish divergence going on right there. Coming down on the VWAP. Yeah, it does, it seems like it's got some more room to the downside to go. Oh, and to answer, one person asked me today or yesterday, on this ribbon right here, which I've only got 2 of the moving averages showing on this ribbon. It's actually like an entire ribbon with all the lines in between, but it's basically the outer and the inner. This guy right here is the 21 moving average, not to be confused with the EMA, the exponential moving average. Oh, there we go. Still going more. So let's see, just out of curiosity, now that we're getting all these big pullbacks, where's everybody at? Yeah, Phantom drop a little bit. Waves, I'm not even paying attention to this one. It seems like it never changes. It's either like number 1 or number 2 for like the last 2 weeks. Solana actually kind of moved up the list. Solana and Monero were down here earlier. That's interesting. Polkadot dropped a little ways. Chainlink, Uniswap, Avalanche. This is all the big dogs. All the big dogs at the top of the list. Stellar. There's an OG. Bitcoin Cash. Atom. VeChain staying respectable. At least in the green. BNB falling back a little bit. It's pretty much the same names over and over again lately. You know, Near's been hovering over here just above the middle of the map. Litecoin up here, a little above 2.5. Let's see Monero. What's Monero been doing? You know, if this guy had a little bit more angle to it, which it very well could. Let's say we played off the top of that. So if we went from this top to this top, it actually looks like a breakout with a retest. I'm going to leave this one like that, and we'll see what happens. Now, if that was in fact a pattern breakout with a retest, should see a good bit of volume, which this is a 30-minute chart here. Hold on. You know, nothing spectacular. Had a decent little chunk as we were coming out. So it could potentially be a little breakout if we went from that to that without going off into infinity. A potential target could be 228, 230. Now, obviously, that crazy pump right there surpassed that. So technically, it wouldn't be an all-time high at this point, but it could. It could be. Could happen. Who else was going hard? Avalanche was doing not a terribly exciting chart, although we do have an upward trend going on between the money flow and the momentum waves. You know, we got this guy going on here. Kind of broke out of, holy crap, that goes back pretty far. Kind of has something like that going until the momentum wave broke out of that. Again, money flow coming up right there along with it. Just crossed back. You know, VWAP kind of just got rejected right here. But pretty much the, you know, the entire market kind of pumped and pulled back right there. So it could be like an overall fundamental move. Just because, you know, just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to too. But let's see. Let's go up to the daily. Hide some of this Hide some of this chicken scratch. I don't even know how much I want this here. Kind of don't. But let's see, where are we at? We're back down around this spider line right here. Still maintaining this kind of upward channel we got going on here. You know, momentum waves. Trending upward. Kind of trending downward on the top side, but seems a little bit heavier to the down, but it's hard to tell because we're all the way back here as compared to up here. I'd say the big thing though is the money flow. And we did have that little rejection right there. But one thing that kind of stands out to me is as we've been coming back up, you know, we've been getting these bigger pumps. Obviously, these ones aren't as big compared to these, but, you know, as we are shrinking down here, I don't really expect them to. So hopefully we finally break through into the green on the money flow. Come on, it's been overdue. Got our little triangle going, but those RSIs are almost together. They're almost there. And just the fact that they're coming together, you know, had some strength in that. You know what we're missing? We're missing the DBSI. 1316. Pretty good in and of itself. Really? And, you know, VWAP still heading up. Momentum waves, you know, still generally heading to the upside. You know, money flow down here actually is not all that great. I mean, it's not low, but as you can see, yeah, we did have another dip down with a slight upward tilt, you know, right through this little pump right here. So we'll see how that plays out. If we go down in the time frames, 4 hour, practically took it into the green. RSI is getting a little bit of split, you know, coming off of when they were closest together down here at that last local bottom. But we've also had just kind of this general light split throughout this entire section back here. Seems like the only time we didn't was when we were taking these little dips. So I'm not too worried about that. You know, it's definitely better than, you know, being split like that. But it does kind of look somewhat familiar to how this guy started right here. Except for, you know, the money flow is getting closer to turning green, whereas we are still declining over here. And it did still turn into a pretty decent little pump. And we're what? A couple candles in. Gigantic wick though. Ugh. But still, it's not to say that we can't continue. Potentially even to this next spider line. So what do you think? You think it's gonna pump? You think we're gonna continue? We're just having a healthy little pullback. Everybody wanted to get in on them shorts while we were super high up. Let's see, what do we got? 17 to 11. but with a bigger candle. Got our little green dot. Let's see if we can maintain that with some, you know, some yellow diamonds. VWAP starting to head down a little bit. Same thing on the RSIs. Starting to split as we go up. But money flow is a lot of kind of sideways-ness-ish. I mean, it's been fairly weak to begin with, but we're definitely on the way back up. This could be a good sign that, you know, we're finally getting out of this red money flow. And what would be an extra bonus to that is if we do continue up out of there, you know, that could be a sign that we're finally breaking past that resistance level right there. Because if we do come into the green and get some nice pump action, you know, come up, retest up and out, and then we could finally be on our way back up, even if it's only for a little bit. You know, I'm not one to say that, hey, you know, we're finally having some upward signs that, you know, bull market's back on. I'm definitely not going to jump on that train preemptively. See, zooming out here, you know, we've been getting clipped to the downside where we really haven't had any deep momentum waves, you know, even with that big spike that we had right there. Man, it just feels like we've been in the red forever now. Let's see. Now, with the RSIs looking from this far, you know, removed, this far zoomed out, we had our general downtrend, generally up, definitely generally down. This could just be a little bump before a final down, or it could be potentially like that. But that's pretty much the two options that I'm guessing. Now, I know that doesn't really say much. Is it going up or is it going down? Well, frankly, I kind of don't care. I mean, aside from the fact that I generally want things to always go up, but, you know, try to trade it either way. Fuck, is that bright? Yeah, it looks like we're... Let's see what's going on here. Hold on. So definitely got a lower low. Not too much going on there. Let's... We came to the 1 minute. What do we see here? 2023. We do have some bullish divergence on the 1 minute. I'll be honest with you, I am not 100% sure how much that can translate into to the upside, because I really haven't. I have not been hanging out on the 1 minute at all for a long time now, but it could be like an initial indicator that maybe we are done coming down. You know, I would definitely want to see the same thing reflected on another time frame, but, you know, we might not, because this whole move right here is just one momentum wave. We did come a little low. That come out to about 69. Magic number. A little troubling on the money flow right there, but it's the 4 minute. What you gonna do? Okay. Not that great on the 8 minute either. Yeah, RSI is generally kind of, I mean, starting to spread a tiny bit, but still pretty close together compared to like over here. But we are still in that initial downward stage. Oh, we got 15, 15, 7. Pulling up short a little bit. Nine, 9. Damn, what was that movie? I don't remember. Some dude was playing like a corny Hitler. I know it. No, that was Inglorious Bastards. Yeah, that's what that was from. Yeah, pretty strong little double bump on the downside there. Let's go see what else is going on. What's Luna doing? Everybody's doing about the same thing. 4 hour. There we go. There's a different chart. Holy shit. Did I really leave that much on here? Oh, okay. So I actually got a fib channel on here. Yeah, we've been playing into that one pretty good. Matter of fact, we're right back down here to that. What is it? 280, 236. I always forget that second digit. Yeah, rejection over here at a golden pocket. A little bit of a speed bump when we came over here to the 382. All right, let's try to hide some of this, make a little sense out of this chaos. Oh, look at that. We got a resistance level right there as well. You know what? Get rid of that. That was from a trade. Yeah, here's a, I don't know. You don't have to do this or anything like that, but something that I do when I have a trade going, especially if, you know, I'm not at home comfy in my computer chair and I can sit there and babysit it. I'll take a little horizontal raise. Say I were to, you know, put in a long right there. I'll just throw in a green ray and then say I set my stop loss down here below those. I'll throw in a red line. So that way when you come back, or if you have to look at it from your phone, you know, maybe you walked away from the computer and you're checking up on it because, I mean, hey, who's not constantly checking on their trade? You know, you pulled up and started pulling down and you're sitting there like, oh man, it's getting close. At least then you know, like, where that level where, you know, your trade's going to automatically cut on you is. And then if, you know, if you've got like a take profit or something, it's totally unrealistic, but say you got to take profit up here, you know, you could either throw like a blue line in or whatever you want to do. That's generally what I've done. And, you know, I was flipping these when I was doing shorts, and after a while I was like, why the hell am I doing that? So just always have green as my entry, red as the stop loss. And then if I've got to take profit in there, I usually make it blue. But something nice to do, especially if you're planning on letting it hang out for hours, and, you know, you could come back later on, say there's your stop loss, come back and be like, oh, okay, you know, we're all the way up here. I definitely want to close in some profits. You know, maybe I'll pick a spot, you know, right below a big candle top or something. You know, if you got like a support resistance level pretty much right exactly where we're at the moment, you know, maybe come back and set it like just below that, whatever it is. And then that way, you know, if it does fall back on you when you're not paying attention, at least, you know, you ended in the green. Although sometimes that can be very disappointing because you get these little stop loss killers where it just come by, trigger it, knock you out, and start going right back up. But I prefer to play it cautious. I would rather get closed out in half the profit than just sit there and let it ride and like come back later on in the evening and check it and find out like, oh, hey, we came, you know, all the way down here and it erased all that profit that I had back there. which I've absolutely had happen. Especially if you're going to bed. If you leave a trade going while you're going to bed, man, that tends to happen. Because sometimes, you know, if you're back here, you can't even predict like what you think is going to happen way out here yet. Because you're waiting to see how far you pump. So if you want to play it safe, you could always come in here and just say, okay, set like a limit order up at like a major resistance level and just say, screw it, let it cut right there. If it keeps going up, well, at least we had a good trade. You don't got to get it perfect. Shoot, I think I had a trade that was open for like 2.5 days at one point, just because it was, you know, pumping up, doing pretty good. Like, okay, went to bed, you know, had a stop loss or whatever, like, you know, way back down where I started and bumped it up. So at least it would finish off in a profit, but came up and just went sideways, pulled down a little bit. And I'm like, man, like, had all that time, like I meant to wake up in the middle of the night just to check it. If I would have came out right around the top, but woke up like half awake, looked at my phone and was like, it's doing good, and went back to sleep, and then just gave most of that back. But what do you think? You guys have you know, any interesting trading stories, any dumb stuff you've done, or you know, things that you struggle with, or just crazy stories? Oh. Speaking of crazy stories, so I had an idea for like a little video series, like one that we could do, you know, maybe once a week or something like that. Let me know what you guys think of this. So how would you like to like research some like particularly like big trades, or, you know, interesting trading stories, whether it be crypto or traditional, and try to tell it in an entertaining manner? You know, you get a lot of these like YouTube channels where they're telling like scary stories or just crazy interesting stuff, and yeah, I wish I could tell my stories on here, because God knows there's more than I'll ever remember, but they are probably not appropriate for YouTube, and I also don't want to say them because they're about me. But I feel like we can make some famous trading stories fairly interesting. You know, break it down a little bit, maybe critique, criticize, talk crap. Who knows? But might be something interesting. I honestly don't know any off the top of my head, so I'd have to look and see if there even is any interesting stories, but I'm willing to bet that some crazy shit has happened. I mean, in all the trading, I mean, people losing, like, matter of fact, oh man, there was just that one dude who worked for, was it Goldman Sachs? Yeah, I think he was working with Goldman Sachs that just got fired like a week ago because he was betting on some obscure derivative and he lost like tens of millions of dollars. Or maybe it was like, I think it was, I don't know, it might have been like $15 million, but still, that's a hefty little kick to the company's nuts. But now it would have to be like a story where you actually have all the details, so that way you could kind of tell it as if like you're narrating a movie or a TV show. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Hell, if you know any interesting trading, investing, you know, just financial stories at all, by all means, man, shoot it in the comments. I'd be curious to hear it, even if we don't talk about it in a video. I know I probably got like one myself, but I suppose I can make it interesting. I think I mentioned it in like an older video on here. I say older, even though we've only been here for like not even 2 months yet, but one of the early videos back in the day, many days ago. What's up, Adam? What's going on with Doge? I never really checked Doge. Getting close to breaking that low. Shiba. Still just chugging along down from that range. Cartesi. Yeah, Cartesi's been poking back up a little bit. 12%, nothing to really get excited about. Nothing to get out of bed for. Audio, man, I would be so happy if this thing was like rounding out the bottom, but so many charts are kind of looking like this, like we're rounding out, kind of going sideways. You know, we're getting like this. That doesn't really do it justice. We're getting like these little patterns starting up, where it'd be really nice if the entire market just continues to just curve right back up and out of there. But it kind of looks like a smiley face with the X's for eyes. And that red's like a little tongue hanging out. Holy crap, what did I do? I broke it. All right. I think that might mean we're getting bored. Damn, look at that shit, though. Just pumping with the volume and everything. What do we end up going to? 99%. I am strongly regretting not buying any of that back when I was buying up this whole chunk right here. You know, was getting the V-Chain, got the V-Chain Thor. Didn't get the damn Thor chain, though. That was a stupid move. Still no divergence yet. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really counting that right there. But potentially, money flow might be rolling over. Might not. It's really hard to tell when you're at the peak of it, because you do get, you know, these little waves. I'd say it'd be reasonable to have, you know, a healthy little pullback, especially at least to that moving average. So what do you think? I don't know. Are we ready to do live streams? Somebody let me know. Would you watch a live stream? I feel like the numbers are starting to get up a little bit, relatively speaking. I mean, up to like 125-ish. I think 125 subs. 125 subs. And there's definitely some of you guys out there that are watching the videos like when they come out, which, dude, absolutely, thank you. That's cool. That's super cool. And if you're still watching this, by all means, do participate. You know, hit me up in the comments. Doesn't have to be like, you know, other YouTube channels where there's some like disconnect between creator and audience. You know, I'd rather chop it up with you guys, get to know you guys. What are you working with? What, you know, what are you trading? How's it going? What are you struggling with? I know what I struggle with. I mean, I might not necessarily talk about it all that much, but I should probably make like a video solely on the things that I fuck up. Because you know what? I'm sure there's other people doing the same thing. Look at that little move. 23. Oh man, look at that VWAP kind of rolling back around. Money flow coming up. Elron. This is one of those ones that BitBoy was talking about forever ago that I just like never really, I don't even know what they do, but you know, it's had its time here and there. Nice money flow though. Oh, new hourly candle. Looks like kind of rolling down a little bit, but about to cross the zero. What's up with algo? Big pullback like everybody else. You know, money flow dipping down. If this turns out to be like just short little green money flows, that's going to be disheartening. At that point, I'm almost expecting a repeat of all this, just erase the entire pump. It's kind of what I'm watching out for. Because also keep in mind, you know, we generally kept coming back to like this range right here. You know, we'd pump out of it, come right back. Pump out of it, come right back. Started pumping out of it. Looks like we might be heading back. Oh shit. Didn't want to do that. So back to Bitcoin. What do we... Whoa. It's kind of ugly. Yeah, a little continuation, but let's see. We're curling out a little bit. Curling like that Winter Olympic sport that is odd to have as an Olympic sport. I mean, it seems like a fun thing, like if you were to do like at the bar. Now, granted, you'd be on ice, so people probably be cracking their head open all the time, but still be fun. I don't know. I might be biased on that one a little bit because I played hockey for a long time. So I'm not quite as intimidated by ice, but God knows I've had some bumps and bruises from it, that's for sure. Got 2014, 14. 12 minutes left on that candle, so that's fairly new. $15, $18. Are we not? No. You know, VWAP still down. You know, maybe starting to clip a little bit, but still down. RSI's definitely pointed down. Momentum wave's definitely pointed down. Money flow, you know, a touch below this peak, but doesn't mean much unless it's like a double bump, at which point, you know, we're coming up on the, pretty much are at the 3/4 mark. So it could start, you know, heading back down. But again, we've just been, look, it's super choppy. I mean, this was really the biggest money flow we've had since this back here. And even that didn't play out all that great. All right. I don't know. I meant to keep this one short. Ended up just kind of hanging out with you guys. So holla at your boy. Let me know what you think. Any ideas? Come back. Hey, real quick. You see the Gucci market cipher right there? Ew. And the Gucci Bitcoin with the Gucci polka dot. Oh yeah, who's doing it like that? Although we're not pumping anymore, but you know, had that nice little pump at the time when I made it. Oh, you know, it says Gucci pumps and wallets, and I never even mentioned the wallet thing, but it's kind of turned into an analysis video, so we'll save the wallets for another day. I was going to talk about, you know, some good wallets, particularly at a time when they keep talking all this, trying to freeze people's crypto and transactions and trying to get into people's wallets and not being smart enough or realizing that that's just not a thing. Although I don't know if can Coinbase freeze people's wallets. I guess you could freeze their account, which could keep you from logging on in order to get things out of the wallet. But I think that would have to be the exchange wallet as opposed to like the kind of quote unquote Coinbase wallet. So I know it's like a separate app. So I don't know how much control they have over the, you know, the independent Coinbase wallet. I'd be curious to look that up though. But that's another one. So video on wallets coming soon. So we're going to rock out with some Gucci wallets, some Louis V, Versace. I think, what do we got on here? I got Atomic wallets on this thing. Then you got your in-browser wallets, just MetaMask, Terra Station, to be specific, Harmony. So yeah, look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we stay bullish. Hopefully we can get a nice little trade in for a change and I can actually record it. But I'm working on it. Today's was at work on the phone, wasn't happening. So love you everybody. Stay free, stay happy. Life is short. Remember, live your life like a movie, live your dream and never wake up. Peace.